You're about to step into your cruise cabin, drop your bags, and think everything's set. But small cabin mistakes, things people do without thinking, quietly ruin sleep, cost money, and add stress every single day on board. I've seen these mistakes over and over. Avoid them, and your cruise instantly feels smoother. Mistake number 1. Not using the cabin safe on day 1. This is one of those mistakes that feels harmless until it isn't. Most people walk into the cabin, toss their passport on the desk, drop their wallet on the counter, and think, well, I'll deal with the safe later. Later turns into dinner, then a show, and then bed. And suddenly, day 1 is over. The issue isn't that cabin ships are unsafe. It's that cabins are dynamic spaces. Housekeeping comes in and out. Doors stay open during cleaning. Hallways stay busy. And your cabin stops feeling like a locked hotel room and starts functioning more like a shared workspace with rotating access. Now, passports are the biggest risk here. Losing one mid-cruise doesn't just cause stress. It can derail ports, flights home, and your entire last day. Now, phones and wallets should either be on you or locked away. There's no middle ground that actually works. Using the safe on day 1 takes 2 minutes. Waiting creates a window where mistakes happen for no good reason. Once your valuables are handled, the cabin feels calmer. But there's another habit people pick up immediately, one that affects comfort and cleanliness without them realizing it. Mistake number 2, leaving valuables out when your cabin is being cleaned. This mistake usually comes from comfort, not carelessness. After the first night, the cabin starts to feel like your space. You leave your phone charging on the desk. Your wallet sits by the bed. Sunglasses end up on the counter. It feels safe until housekeeping day turns your cabin into a pass-through. When your room is being cleaned, the door is often wide open. Carts move up and down the hallway. Crew members pass by. Other guests walk past without even thinking about it. Nothing malicious has to happen for something to disappear. All it takes is one moment of confusion or misplacement, and suddenly you're tearing the room apart wondering where your things went. Phones, wallets, passports, watches. These should never be left out during cleaning. Either take them with you or put them in the safe. There's no benefit to leaving them exposed, and no upside to trusting luck. Now, cruise ships aren't unsafe, but they are busy. High-traffic environments increase risk, even when everyone is well-intentioned. Managing that risk is part of cruising smarter. A simple rule works every time. If it would ruin your day to lose it, it shouldn't be visible when your cabin door is open. Mistake number 3, using the decorative pillow. Now, that extra pillow on the bed looks cozy. It's usually darker, textured, or patterned, and it sits perfectly centered like it's meant to be used. Most people grab it without thinking and tuck it under their head or hug it while sleeping. Here's the issue. Decorative pillows are not cleaned the same way as sleeping pillows. They're designed to make the cabin look finished, not to be used nightly against your face. Their covers aren't always washed between guests, and the inserts rarely get the same treatment as standard bedding. After a long travel day, your face, hair, and skin are already stressed. Adding a pillow that's gone through dozens of cabins without deep cleaning isn't doing you any favors. It can affect sleep quality, skin irritation, and overall comfort in ways people don't immediately connect back to the pillow. The fix is simple. Move it off the bed when you arrive. Use the pillows that are clearly intended for sleeping, or ask housekeeping for an extra clean pillow if you want more support. Good sleep on a cruise starts with small, intentional choices like this. And mistake number 4, using the bedside USB ports without testing them. Those bedside USB ports look convenient. You plug your phone in, place it on the nightstand, and assume it'll be fully charged in the morning. Then you wake up to 12% battery and a low-grade panic before your excursion. Many cruise ship USB ports are older, slow, or partially worn out. Some deliver power inconsistently. Others barely charge at all, especially if you're using newer phones or multiple devices. Because they do charge a little, people don't realize there's a problem until it's too late. A dead or low phone on a cruise isn't just annoying. It affects boarding passes, excursion meetups, photos, maps, and communication with your group. Starting the day already behind adds unnecessary stress. The smart move is to test the port during the day or skip it entirely. Use a wall outlet with your own charger, preferably one you know works fast and reliably. If you travel with multiple devices, a small charging hub makes a huge difference. Charging is one of those things you only notice when it fails. On a cruise, it's better to remove the risk completely. If this is already helping you cruise smarter, hit like and subscribe so you don't miss the mistakes most people only learn the hard way. And the next one starts the moment you step outside, and it's where cruises quietly claim the most lost items. Mistake number 5, leaning on the balcony railing with drinks or phones. The balcony feels calm, almost still. That's what makes this mistake so common. People step outside with a coffee in one hand, phone in the other, lean forward on the railing, and forget they're standing on a moving ship. Even gentle motion changes balance. A small wave, a vibration from the engines, or a sudden shift is enough to turn a relaxed moment into a reflex grab that comes too late. Phones, sunglasses, cups, earbuds. Once they slip, they're gone. There is no retrieval. The ocean doesn't give second chances, and cruise lines don't replace items lost this way. What surprises people is how fast it happens. There's no dramatic stumble, just a smooth slide, a clink, and then nothing. Drinks are another issue. Leaning forward increases spill risk, and wet balcony floors are slicker than they look. That combination, forward weight, smooth flooring, and ship movement, is exactly what you want to avoid. The smarter habit is simple. Stand back from the railing. Set items on a table. Use a lanyard or wrist strap for phones if you're filming. Treat the balcony like an observation deck, not a bar counter. The view doesn't improve when you lean out, but the risk absolutely does. Mistake number 6, assuming the balcony is totally private. Balconies feel secluded, but they aren't soundproof bubbles floating at sea. Voices carry far more than people expect. Side conversations, phone calls, music, and even laughter travel along the ship's structure. Neighbors don't have to be close to hear you, especially at night when ambient noise drops and cabins are quieter. This catches people off guard. They talk freely, vent about plans, or take calls assuming no one else can hear. Later, they're surprised by awkward eye contact in the hallway, or realizing private moments weren't as private as they thought. Privacy also changes depending on ship design. Some balconies angle inward. Others sit close enough that sight lines overlap. Curtains, lighting, and timing matters more than people realize. Now, the fix isn't paranoia. It's awareness. Keep conversations low. Use headphones. Close curtains when changing or using interior lights at night. Treat the balcony like a semi-public space rather than a locker room. Cruising comfortably means understanding where privacy actually exists and where it only feels like it does. Mistake number 7, leaving the balcony door open with the AC on. Now, this mistake frustrates more people than almost any other cabin issue. You open the balcony door for fresh air and leave it cracked while the air conditioning is running. Everything feels fine at first. Then the cabin slowly turns warm, sticky, uncomfortable. People assume the AC is broken and start adjusting the thermostat with no results. Here's what's happening. Most cruise ships automatically shut off the air conditioning when the balcony door is open. It's a built-in energy system. The cabin doesn't warn you, it just stops cooling. Because the change is gradual, people don't connect the dots. They shower, come back, and wonder why the room feels like a sauna. Some even call guest services, thinking it's a mechanical problem. The solution is simple. Balcony door open means AC off. If you want fresh air, enjoy it fully. When you want cooling, close the door completely and give the system a few minutes to recover. Understanding how cabin systems work saves time, comfort, and unnecessary frustration, especially after long days ashore. Mistake number 8, booking a cabin without checking what's above you. On the deck plan, your cabin looks perfect. Quiet, tucked away. But what's above you matters just as much as where you sleep. Many first-time cruisers don't realize that a cabin can sit directly under the pool deck, a buffet, or even a nightclub. That means early morning chair scraping, heavy footsteps before sunrise, bass vibrations that don't fully stop until late at night. None of it shows up in the cabin photos. The worst part is how inconsistent it feels. One morning it's silent. The next you're awake at 6 from furniture being dragged across the deck above your head. At night, the music isn't loud enough to complain about, but it's just enough to interrupt sleep. This doesn't mean those cabins are unlivable. Plenty of people stay in them without issue. The problem is booking them unknowingly. Sleep is one of the most valuable parts of a cruise, and losing it every day changes your entire experience. Before booking, always check the deck directly above your cabin. If it's public space, expect noise. If it's another cabin, you're usually safe. That one check can be the difference between waking up rested or worn down. Mistake number 9, overpacking and killing all your floor space. Cruise cabins look spacious online. In real life, they're efficient. Every inch has a purpose. Now, when you overpack, that efficiency disappears. Extra suitcases sit half open on the floor. Shoes pile up next to the door. Bags get shifted around multiple times a day just to move from bed to bathroom. It sounds minor, but it adds friction to everything. You start your morning stepping over things. You hesitate to unpack fully because there's nowhere to put items. The cabin feels cluttered even if you're only using half of what you brought. Over time, that clutter adds mental weight. Most cruisers don't wear every outfit they pack. Formal nights are fewer than expected. Pool clothes repeat. Casual outfits cycle easily. The key isn't packing light, it's packing intentionally. Use packing cubes. Limit shoes. Choose clothing that mixes well. Leave space empty on purpose. That space becomes freedom. Room to move, to relax, to feel like the cabin works with you instead of against you. On a ship, floor space is comfort. Protect it. Mistake number 10, ignoring how slippery the bathroom floor gets. Cruise bathrooms are compact, functional, and surprisingly slippery. After a shower, water spreads fast. The floor doesn't just get wet, it becomes slick, especially when the ship is moving. Add tired legs, low lighting, and bare feet, and one wrong step can turn into a hard fall. What makes this dangerous is how normal it feels. People rush back to the cabin after excursions. They shower quickly. They step out without thinking. The floor looks fine. Until it isn't. A fall doesn't just hurt in the moment. It can affect walking, excursions, and even boarding procedures. Minor injuries feel bigger when you're far from home and living out of a suitcase. The fix is simple awareness. Step carefully after showers. Use the towel as a floor mat. Hold on to stable surfaces when drying off. If you're traveling with kids or older adults, this matters even more. Cruise bathrooms are designed for efficiency, not forgiveness. Respect the space, slow down slightly, and you avoid a mistake that can change the entire tone of your trip. Mistake number 11, using the coffee machine for anything except water. That little coffee machine looks harmless, and people get creative with it fast. Ramen cups, instant soup, milk, even oatmeal. It feels efficient until you think about how those machines are actually maintained. Cabin coffee makers are not deep cleaned between guests. They're wiped down and reset, but internal tubing doesn't get scrubbed the way people imagine. When liquids other than water go inside, residue builds up where you can't see it. That's where odors, bacteria, and strange tastes come from. The worst part is that problems don't show up immediately. Your first cup seems fine. The second tastes off. By the third day, you're wondering why your coffee smells weird or why your stomach feels unsettled. Most people never connect it back to that machine. The safe rule is simple. Use the coffee maker only to heat plain water. Pour that water into your own mug for coffee packets, or tea, or instant food if you must. Better yet, grab coffee from the cafe or buffet, where cleaning standards are higher and consistent. Convenience is great on a cruise, but not when it quietly compromises comfort or health. Mistake number 12. Putting magnetic hooks or decorations in the wrong spots. Magnetic hooks are one of the best cruise cabin tools, when you use them correctly. The mistake happens when people assume every wall is magnetic. They push, scrape, reposition, and force hooks onto surfaces that aren't designed for it. Some cabin walls are metal, others are layered panels. Forcing magnets onto the wrong area can scratch finishes or leave marks that housekeeping will notice. People waste time testing spot after spot, getting frustrated when hooks slide down or won't hold weight. That frustration usually comes from not knowing where magnets actually work. The safest areas are usually the main cabin walls, especially near the desk or entryway. Bathroom doors and ceilings often work too, but mirrors, decorative panels, and textured surfaces usually don't. Test gently. If the magnet doesn't snap into place easily, move on. Never drag it across the wall. Use hooks for light items like hats, lanyards, or bags, not heavy objects that can fall and cause damage. Used properly, magnetic hooks improve organization. Used incorrectly, they just add stress to a space that's meant to feel easy. Mistake number 13. Assuming room service is always free. Room service feels like one of those cruise perks you don't question. You order late at night, a tray shows up, you eat, end of story. Until the bill appears. Many cruise lines charge for room service during certain hours, especially late at night. Others include a delivery fee. Some menu items cost extra, even when basic service is included. The problem isn't the cost itself, it's the assumption. People order casually thinking it's covered, then feel annoyed when charges appear on their onboard account. That annoyance lingers longer than the food ever did. The smarter approach is awareness. Check the room service menu carefully. Look for delivery fees, time windows, and item pricing. If you want free options, use the buffet or quick service spots during open hours and plan ahead. Room service is best treated as a convenience, not a default. When you choose it intentionally, it feels worth it. When you assume it's free, it feels like a penalty. On a cruise, small charges add up quietly. Knowing which ones are optional keeps control firmly in your hands. Mistake number 14. Assuming small cabin choices don't matter. This is the mistake that ties all the others together. On day one, small choices feel harmless. Where you put your phone, whether you unpack fully, leaving something for later. None of it seems important in the moment. But cruises aren't one-night stays. They're 7 days of repetition. A minor inconvenience doesn't stay minor when you repeat it every morning and every night. A cluttered floor becomes a daily irritation. A warm cabin becomes poor sleep. A dead phone becomes rushed mornings. These things stack quietly, and by mid-cruise, people feel tense without knowing exactly why. That's the difference between stress and flow. Experienced cruisers feel calmer not because they're more relaxed people, but because they remove friction early. They set the cabin up intentionally. They lock things away. They keep space clear. They understand how the room works and adjust their habits to match it. The cabin stops becoming something they manage and starts being something that supports them. When small choices are handled up front, the cruise feels easier. Days move smoothly. Even busy itineraries feel lighter. Nothing is pulling at your attention in the background. Cruising well isn't about luxury or upgrades. It's about control. And control comes from respecting the small decisions. Because on a ship, those are the ones that shape the entire experience. By the time you walk off the ship, what you remember most won't be the cabin itself. It'll be how the cruise felt. Calm or chaotic, smooth or slightly off. That difference usually comes down to small choices you made without thinking. If this helped, hit like and subscribe. It tells me this kind of practical cruise advice is worth making more of. And drop a comment with the cabin mistake you've seen people make the most, or one you learned the hard way. Cruising smarter isn't about doing more. It's about removing friction so your days flow naturally. Click the video on the screen. I'm sure you'll enjoy it. Your voyage is just beginning.